obviously it's not the best to have a match with nobody there. It's weird. It can feel awkward sometimes. Like, and especially it's like your big moment. It's like your big time. How can, like, of course, like the people in the back are able to make an evaluation on a match. Like they can decide whether they like a match or don't like a match, or like a spot or don't like a spot, or like a person's character, whatever. But it's really hard to gauge what they would be if there's no actual interacting audience. You know, so that's unfortunate, and it does suck that, because if you're that talent and you don't feel comfortable traveling or doing that, are you guaranteed a tryout to be seen when we're done all of this?
Because if you say no, David, 100%, you nailed it. If you say no now, you're still saying no. You know.
Yeah, and some guys this is another reason why we're trying to do what we're trying to do on the independent scene by having as many wrestlers as possible join equity and have these protections so that they actually have some sort of stability when it comes to being independent. And when they're faced with a choice between a corporate wrestling company or staying independent, they actually kind of have some leverage themselves to say no because they're still comfortable. Yeah. And one of the things that we don't have is because that doesn't exist yet. So there isn't really that much of a safety net. So these guys and girls, they say yes, and they are afraid to say no. So if you're offered a tryout and it's been booked for a while or whatever, and there's no fans there, but you don't feel comfortable traveling, like if I say no, am I still going to get this tryout later, or am I the next in line from other people that have all said no? So am I kind of breaking the chain and making them look bad? Like, we all just have to kind of stay together and just stay inside. Like, honestly, it is just that. Nobody can go out, and it does need to be completely government mandated from all over the world. Like, we just have to stop. Japan just decided to have some fans at shows, and their numbers spiked by like 10% in a night. All the testing's coming out, and it turns out they're not ready to go back to these fan shows. Like, nobody knows what's going. We just need to stay inside, and it sucks because it's not the talent's fault because they're saying yes. Because if they say no, they don't know if the opportunity will ever come again. So they are actually being forced in a way to risk their own health and safety in order to possibly have a shot.
It reminds me a little bit. I've made the comparison. I don't really know who's Jesse Ventura and who's Hulk Hogan here, but it does have a remnant. It does kind of sound to me like when Jesse was trying to get the guys to do something good for themselves. But of course, if a couple big players don't want to do that, what kind of a signal does that send to the rest of the locker room? You know, it's a very. I don't want to be too jaded about this period in time, David, but I'm a little disappointed in the leadership I'm seeing right now in pro wrestling, all things considered. Outside of weirdly, and I know you're going to I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but Ring of Honor, they're the only ones that made the decision to go dark for as long as it takes early and keep their guys out of this altogether.
Well, that's great. No, of course. The way I feel about Sinclair Broadcasting and Ring of Honor, or like people like Joe Koff, really, I haven't made that a secret that I'm not really big fans, but if they're doing the right thing, they're doing the right thing. Credit where credit's due. I'm not going to be that blind to it. That's awesome. That's what they should have. That's what they should be doing the whole time. There obviously is a little bit more motive behind that because Sinclair doesn't really care that much about Ring of Honor, and I think they use it mostly as a tax write-off. So they don't really. Sinclair, the company, doesn't care. The wrestling company itself obviously wants to be fine. I just don't think Sinclair cares that much. They're just kind of using it as a way to. They're using it as a tax write-off, just like that, because they're a $3 billion company. And so I think there is a little bit. It's easier for them to make the decision because I don't think they care that much about it. And the contracts they're giving to the wrestlers are like drops in a bucket for Sinclair, a company worth that much. But regardless of the motivation, it still is the best thing to do. So good job, Ring of Honor. Kudos.